Hello friends, welcome to the end of October garden tour. And it is 43 degrees today in Niagara Falls, New York. We have had 3 mornings of frost in a row. And to be honest, my yard is not nearly as frost covered as some of my neighbors. And I think it's because of all the leaves in my yard. So I am holding off on raking a little bit. I have raked, but we're gonna hold off for a couple more days. Let this frost pass because the next week we have lows in the 40s. So we're gonna roll with it. But I wanted to show you what is blooming in the garden. It's October 30th and Halloween is tomorrow. Happy Halloween, everyone. Just kind of take a look at how it looks in the garden and what's going on. Let's get to it. I'm trying to block the sun a little bit. The hollyhock is looking good. I mean, for the end of October, it's still got some blooms on it. Looking at the garden this way, not as great. So I've lost the cosmos. It looks to the frost, and the Dusty Miller is looking kind of sad. The zinnias, yeah, they're leaning, not looking their best. For sure, I have lost the coleus here, but the Supertunia Mini Vista White is actually still going for it. So I'm quite happy with that. I think it's kind of tucked in around these zinnias, so maybe that has helped it. Okay, we're just going to walk down here. The blue cedar atlas and the roses are actually looking this particular rose plant really enjoyed it once it was in the ground down here, so it's looking lovely. Okay, another Cosmo that actually looks a little bit better. And we do have a lavender plant that I apparently forgot to clip this branch right here. So I did trim all the lavender back, missed that one. So as you can see, yep, lavender has been trimmed back and it is being mulched by leaves. I do need to get those out of there. They just end up getting wet and not so good for the soil. Couple of pretty cosmos in there. More zinnias. This end is doing a little better. I think the frost doesn't land so much because of the tree cover here. So again, another blue atlas cedar and heucheras that are just being mulched up by leaves. So I have 5 heucheras in here, alternating purple palace and melting fire. And the alyssum has really kind of bounced back with the cooler weather. So that is looking good. I am starting to lose the celosia. The foxglove is looking good in here. Again, it's hard to see everything because of the leaf cover, the leaf mulch that we have going on. They just continue to fall while I'm talking. I do want to talk a little bit about what my goal is for this garden. I really want this back row against the fence to fill up and be the tall, spiky elements in this garden. I did plant hollyhocks in here that didn't get as tall as they could have. I really think the biggest issue was water this year. I didn't run a specific line because they were perennials. I figured, they'll get rainwater and I will supplement with the hose. And I did, but I should have run a line because it was their first year to specifically water them. So this year I will. And I think the tree drank a lot more water than I was anticipating. So yeah, that going forward, we're going to have to fix that. But I did have lines run for the next couple of rows. So I did have daisies that came up. The annuals did really well. The snapdragons just continue to bloom. Show you these. Those were a gorgeous, I don't know the name of them. I just got seeds that said snapdragons, and those are amazing. They're like this red velvety color that just is amazing in a fall bouquet. So need to plant more of those. And then the guara grew really well after, there it is. After getting that from plugs, quite lovely. That ethereal look that Gara has Just really a lovely plant. And coming in a little closer, we have the Indian grass. I'm hoping that, again, does better next year. It takes a couple of years for the grasses to get established and really come back. And I'm okay with that spreading a little bit. I will pull out clumps if it gets to be too much. Is the cool season flower bed. Now the seedlings were planted here. This is a 3x7-ish bed. I do have snapdragons, black-eyed Susan, nigella, and calendula planted in here, and quite a few plants of each. And then over here, I planted out like a 3x3 bed, and obviously covered with leaves, which I am leaving for right now because I think it's helping prevent the frost from settling on directly on the seedlings. I have larkspur, bachelor buttons, a row of bupleurum. So they are doing well. Okay, closer look at this section. So like I said, I have hollyhocks in the back here. I do have a red one blooming back there. Can you see it right up against the fence? And this rose did well. I did cut back a couple of the arms because they got a little long and leggy. The penstemon, I hope, comes back. It, had a little bit of transplant shock this year because I moved them from the front garden bed to here, and yeah, we got to let them settle in, root in. But they did well. They're colored up lovely. I added that red color to this garden. I had a lot of green going on, so yeah, I think once they fill in, they will be very striking. Then I have more celosia, more of the alyssum. This, I believe, is the purple, the royal carpet, right? It has that mix of purple colors and white. It's really very pretty, kind of standing out against the yellow leaves. I believe this is Furman Red Salvia. I just had a red salvia that was on the seed packet, and I planted the seeds, winter sowed, and popped them in the ground, and they are doing extremely well. Really enjoying those. And I have more echinacea that's trying to flower before the end of the season here. So let's hope, maybe fingers crossed, that I'll get a little more echinacea, and that cosmos is done. Yep, done. I have more Madame Butterfly snapdragons. This rose has lots of rose hips on it already, formed up. Very pretty. The calendula actually is doing well now that it's in the ground. It didn't do well in the container I had it in, so we'll just leave that one where it is. The perennial sunflower is, again, I left the seed heads. It is being visited by lots of birds. They do like the seeds, so that I don't mind leaving that for them. And surprisingly, I know Gaillardia loves the heat, but it is still performing. I am still cutting flowers off of this. So it is really, I had 2 plants in here, and this thing, man, it's going to town. And these I planted from seed, again, winter sowed, great. And I did cut down, let's take a step back here. So I had 2 sunflowers, one here and one over here, that were the real tall variety, the Autumn Beauty, but I did cut those down just because they were leaning and the squirrels were on them, and I didn't love the look of them, and I probably won't plant those again next year here, but if they reseed, it's fine, not a big deal. And full disclosure, I accidentally planted more asters than I intended, and this one is leaning, and I don't exactly love it. And I may move this one because I have 1, 2, 3 in this area. So yeah, I think I'm gonna move that one, because I have another aster that's done blooming, but it's right there, right there. Yeah, that's a good spot for that one. I definitely need to stake these next year, or I'm going to shear them back early in the season. So that's where we are with that. My dahlia is still actually doing okay. I have one bloom there that I need to cut, and I have some more buds. It doesn't seem like the frost has taken them yet. Third morning that we've had frost, and the dahlia seems all right. The switchgrass is starting to color up for fall. It's got that yellow hue to it. I have a Moulin Rouge sunflower that needs to be cut back as well. And another Furman red that red color is quite lovely. Really am enjoying that. Nice little surprise out of the Furman red. And Zena's talking to me. And you know what else I've really enjoyed more than I expected were the spent blooms of the Gaillardia. I'm really enjoying that seed head there, that little round element, which makes me think I need to plant Gomphrena next summer because, yeah, I enjoyed that form in the garden as well. So, and the black-eyed Susan in back just keeps blooming, so I will continue to cut on those as well and hopefully get some more blooms, which is shocking going into November. I mean, I'm at the end of October and I'm surprised how many blooms I still have. So this aster still has some color on it. That one is pretty well done. That was the first one that bloomed though. And then this one has some color left. So I think next year, if I shear them back maybe at different times in maybe June, early July, I will continue to get kind of that succession of blooms out of the asters. Mum is still has some color. I should come out and deadhead it. And just to let you know, these hollyhocks never bloomed. They put on some great leaf growth, so I am hopeful that next year I will have really strong, tall hollyhocks in this location. And the baby blue spruce is doing really well. I do continue to water this and hope that it gets to be its full size of about 4 feet tall. I think it's probably going to be about 6 feet, but it is it's doing well so far. It's my blue element on this end of the garden, so yeah, that's what we have. And then this mess here, I do have tarps down. This is my cool season flower bed for my very early spring planting. So it is ready. You know, as I dug up the grass to put in the border, it went on there. Now I've removed it and I still have just a disaster. But there's boards just holding down the tarp. I don't want the tarp blowing around for the winter. And I will remove the tarp somewhere around mid-February toward the beginning of March, depending on what the weather is like. And underneath it is Bio 360 film that I'll be able to plant directly into when my seedlings are ready to come out to the garden. So that's exciting that that is taken care of and ready. Yeah. So that is the Picket fence garden. Now let's just turn and look at the front flower bed here by the house. So my Super Bell hanging basket actually is looking very nice. We've had some rain and cooler weather. It's, you know, hanging in the shade here. Yeah, and doing really well. The limelight hydrangea is starting to move to that brownish color. I do still have a lovely pink bloom here, a couple of them. Yeah. I think this has been absolutely the perfect addition. This was the perfect spot for it, and I'm really loving it. The Jacob's ladder down here is doing well. The coleus underneath is all done. All done. I need to pull that out. Foxglove's still coming. The foxglove are still going. So hopefully I can get some more of those next year. I think my lupin is probably done, so I will plant some seeds for the spring to plant out. And the astilbe is starting to color up, get that yellow color on it. The heucheras just continue to do well, and the lamium's doing well. We planted that out from the container into the landscape, so that is rooting in and doing well. Caramel heuchera is still my favorite. And the Simicifuga didn't put on a ton of height this year, but I'm hoping that, it put on some root growth and will be ready to kind of spring forward next year. Again, lamium, a melting fire heuchera, the proven winners, Jacob's ladder, that, got a little damaged when the guys were working on the house, but I think it will do just fine next year. The mouse ears hosta turning its fall color for me here. Yeah, it's about done for the season. And the fern had trouble this year. It didn't love being transplanted, so it's another one that I'm hoping can rebound for next year. Again, more of the spearmint heuchera, another Jacob's ladder in the back there. This is a Bressingham blue plantain. That one, again, I did transplant it, and it's, it performed okay this year. And hiding behind my little ghost here is my oak leaf hydrangea, which has the most glorious color. This is amazing. I could do a little trimming on some of the blooms, but that fall color on those leaves, just gorgeous. And I have my osteospermum is still doing it. It's in the container and still going for it. Now these containers are done. These were summer containers. The tuberous begonias are just about done. The polka dot plant just about done. I did bring one in, so hopefully, actually this begonia seems to be fighting for it, hanging in there. And got my mums on my ladder. My squirrel bites on the pumpkins. They've been better since I sprayed. The pansies are doing well. Good color on those. And yeah, the kale cabbage mixture. The squirrels continue to try to eat the plastic pumpkin decorations. And this angel wings begonia is still killing it. All right, and a quick view of the side yard here, which is not much of a side yard. This is it. I have, again, repeating snapdragons, blue mouse ears hosta, and coleus. So just down the line with those varieties. And the mouse ears hosta, they're coloring up. I think next year I need to add another mouse ear hosta right here. Seems to be what I'm missing. And I don't think I'll plant the snapdragons here next year. It's, I don't think they got quite enough sun. So, and they kind of always spilled onto the sidewalk, which made them curve. So, yeah. But the coleus is almost done. I think it's a little more protected here than other spots. It's hanging in there, but it's just about done. Hey guys, I am going to end the tour right here for today, and we'll finish up tomorrow in the backyard. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.